afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome one final time here in 2014 inside Stegman Coliseum. Kevin Kopp, Krista Tonella with you on the air here on GeorgiaDogs.com for Senior Day 2014, the final home meet for Georgia seniors Lindsey Cheek, Kaylin Earls, and Kat Hires, a terrific senior class that has been with this program for 4 years. They've been through a coaching change. They've been through a return to the Super Six for the first time since 2009. A lot of highs, a lot of lows in their 4 years, and hoping to close out their home careers on a high note on always an emotional day, as you can attest from having been through this last year, Senior Day.
Absolutely, Kevin. I am so happy to be here beside you, watching the meet from this perspective. Actually, a dream come true, but man, I'm telling you, these girls, they look ready. This is a meet they're going to remember for the rest of their lives.
You were a senior last year, honored with Noelle Couch and Shayla Worley and Katie Brazil. My normal broadcast partner, who we should mention, is serving a mission trip overseas in Haiti. So if you're going to miss a GeorgiaDogs.com broadcast, she has a pretty valid excuse.
Worthy cause.
We're happy to have you sitting in here. Take us back to a year ago and what it's like as a senior. You've got your parents out on the floor. You've got 10,000 fans standing and cheering. You're watching your baby pictures on the video board here in Stegman Coliseum. How do you handle all of that emotion and then turn around and get ready to go vault?
You know, senior night is really a special night, especially for these girls, because, you know, usually in gymnastics it's such a strength to close down emotions when it comes to game time. You know, you shut everything down and it's business face. But this is a meet where you take your emotions and the adrenaline from having your parents so close and all the closing and this game time, you know, approach, and you're combining them together. And lots of times that is a lethal weapon to have. So I'm really excited to see these girls put those things together. And I mean, the adrenaline, you can just see them. You can just see them chomping at the bit right now. You know, it's really, really looking good.
No doubt about that. Is there a tendency sometimes, especially Lindsey Cheek comes to mind, because of her week last week, where she could have had a 10 on vault. She got 110, 1995, had a career high 9975. She gets another 10 on bars, has a 995 on bars. Is there a tendency among seniors to say, this is my last time in this building, I've got a chance for a perfect 10, or I've got a chance to do something, a career high, this or that, and a tendency to put almost too much pressure on yourself and to take you out of that normal competition rhythm?
Absolutely. I mean, just like anybody, you're going to want this to be the icing on your cake. You're going to want this to be the cherry on top of the whole season, you know, and the last time in front of your family, your home crowd. So it is really, it's a trap, you know, for a senior to fall into this, like, well, this is the night that it all has to come together, you know. So I talked to the girls earlier about their mental approach and said, you know, what is the difference between this meet and another meet? And they said, you know, we've decided as a class that we are not going to treat this meet any differently. And you say that, but in saying it and then you're actually doing it is a whole different thing. But, you know, Lindsey said, no longer is it about an individual. It's going to be about the whole team this time, and we're excited to go out together. And so that, hearing that coming from a senior, you know, when it's technically their night, is really cool to hear that.
Oh, absolutely. And as memory serves, you had a career high 9925 on bars on your senior day last year against Arkansas. So you managed to channel all of those emotions and all of that and turn it into a great day. And I think you're absolutely right that Georgia has the right personnel in those three, Kat Hires, Lindsey Cheek, and Kaylin Earls, to do exactly the same thing. On the broadcast today, we will be looking back at the careers of these three seniors. We got the chance to interview them last week. It was emotional. It was tear-filled. And I'm not talking just about them. I'm talking about me asking the questions.
Kevin had a couple of tears there.
It was emotional in the room, and we will get to share those interviews with you in bits and pieces throughout the day in between our rotations. But we do have a gymnastics meet as well, and we are getting ready for Georgia to open on vault, where there are some changes in the lineup, and let's talk about that right now. Leading off for Georgia in her first career vault will be freshman Morgan Reynolds. Chelsea Davis moves down to the number 2 spot. The rest of the lineup remains the same as it was a week ago. Kat Hires, the senior, will be 3rd. Brittany Rogers 4th. Lindsey Cheek, a senior, 5th. And then Brandy J in the anchor spot for Georgia. So Chelsea Davis, who has had some great vaults and just you feel like she can't quite get that score that she deserves maybe in that leadoff spot, she gets a little protection in the lineup, moves down to 2nd. But for Morgan Reynolds now, you're a freshman. It's senior day. You want to do your best for this outgoing senior class, and now it's your first vault in competition, and you're leading off the meet. How does your mental approach need to be to handle that?
Man, I'm telling you, that's a great spot for a freshman. It is a great spot because you're able to go in, you're setting the tone, but there is a lot of pressure being in that number one spot. And I talked to Dana a little bit earlier today, told her, what was the mental process behind, putting Morgan in? What do you think? What concerns you have? And she's like, she has been so consistent inside and outside the gym, so we're putting her in. She says the one concern that she may have is that she may pop off just a little short off the table. So they've really been working on this in warm up, and you can even see Dana giving her corrections after every vault, to really reinforce it. So it's going to be interesting to see, her make those changes as lineup goes through.
This is a very big day for Morgan Reynolds. Not only is she making her debut on vault, she is also back in the beam lineup for the first time in 5 weeks. So she's got 3 events today. Obviously, that's a big change as well compared to just preparing for floor. You've got 3 events to worry about. So we'll see how Morgan Reynolds starts off the meet. Denver will be opening on bars. The Pioneers will be led off by Leah Lamonti in the leadoff spot. Maggie Laughlin will be second. Julia Ross will be third. Melody Pulgarin-Linero will be fourth. Nina McGee fifth. And Mariah Martin, a longtime Denver Pioneer, will be sixth. And so Denver will open up. They have been a relatively steady team. No high scores this year for Denver. Their highest, 196.550. That came toward the beginning part of the season. They've kind of been locked in a high 198, low 196 type of range, but they have been extremely consistent this year. There hasn't been the 190, the 191. They've been steady as she goes. Denver is the number 20 team in the nation. Georgia moves up to number 5 this week after a season-high 197.650 a week ago. We've already seen a couple of Georgia's SEC rivals, Florida and Alabama, last night went over the 198 threshold. Florida posted the highest score in the nation to this point, a 198.325. Alabama not far behind, a 198.250. Those were separate meets. Both teams were competing at home. So this kind of feels like the week that if you're going to blow one up, go high 197 or low 198. What better way to do it than on senior day, right?
Absolutely, absolutely.
We are just seconds away from getting this meet started. Georgia has completed their touch warm-ups on vault, and they'll huddle down at the end of the runway. Today's meet is also functioning as kind of an unofficial pink-out meet for Georgia. We were supposed to have the pink-out meet on February 14th against Missouri. If you remember, the snow and the ice canceled that meet, but Georgia wearing their pink warm-ups. Breast cancer survivors are seated in one of the sections there in the lower bowl of Stegman Coliseum. A very nice tribute to them before the meet, and t-shirts being sold to benefit the Athens Regional Health System and the breast cancer awareness that organization does. So kind of functioning as the unofficial pink out meet and doing that that Georgia loves to be a part of, that community service that is so important. And so with that said, we are ready to begin today's meet. Morgan Reynolds has exhibitioned twice in her Georgia career, a 9.8 and a 9.725, but her first time in the lineup, and she is in the leadoff spot to begin today's meet. The freshman down the runway approaches the table. Yurchenko layout full, and a pretty good start there for the freshman. Just a small hop back on the landing, one of all.
Kevin, and that is exactly what Dana wanted. I mean, you see her pop off the table. She didn't turn right away. That was a solid start by Morgan.
Well, let's get a look at the replay here, Krista, and take a look. All those nerves, all that energy in the leadoff spot, and this was a very crisp-looking vault. Small hop backwards, and very good job to start Georgia off right, and now gives Chelsea Davis a chance to build on something rather than starting herself. It's a 9.825 for Morgan Reynolds to open our day on vault, and that's what Chelsea's done the last 2 weeks in that leadoff spot. So right where Georgia wants to be after one vault, and now over to bars for Leah Lamonti.
All right, Leah goes in a handstand, nice and crisp. The judges will be looking for nice feet together on that release. She misses it.
Well, a tough start there for Denver as you take a fall in your very first routine of the day, and now some pressure immediately on the Pioneers. We actually saw this exact occurrence last week against Arkansas. The Razorbacks fell in their very first routine, were able to hit 5 bars routines in a row and not count the fall, and so now immediately right from word one, Denver under a little bit of pressure here on the road.
Absolutely, but you can't count yourself out. You know, there's never, there's in the sport of gymnastics, that's what's so beautiful about it. You know, 6 go up, 5 count. This is for reasons like this, that 5 count. You know, so there is no counting Denver out at this point.
And actually, Denver made some changes throughout their lineups on all 4 events before the meet started. So Lamonte having to come into this leadoff role here on bars. Denver on bars this season has averaged a little below a 48. Statistically, bars has been their weakest event. So when that's the case, sometimes you just want to get through it and then make your mark elsewhere in the meet, and so a fall in that first routine for Denver, and they'll look to pick it up from there.
Absolutely. And that was a pretty good routine. She finished up strong, had a little bit of body adjustments throughout. The judges are going to be looking for very tight body movements on all of their turns, and so when you see fluctuation in the feet going one way or the other, opposite of the shoulders, then the judges are seeing that as line breakage.
Chelsea Davis in the second spot today. A huge vault for Chelsea Davis. Just a small step back on the landing, but that might be the biggest vault of her Georgia career.
That was incredible.
Oh, she went for it there, not holding anything back, as we'll get a look at the replay here from Chelsea. She got so much air on this vault. She's generally a very consistent vaulter, but not the most power. That time, really great height, and just, again, a small hop back. She's going to be rewarded for it in the scores. She's got 1.99. She's got 2. A 9.9 for Chelsea Davis, and some genius lineup maneuvering by Dana Durrani and the Georgia coaches.
That's awesome, and I think Chelsea's biggest asset on that vault was that she had her shoulders all the way open. I think that really contributed to a lot of her height.
That is a career-high 9.9 vault for Chelsea Davis, and after a 9.1 from Leah Lamonte, up second, Maggie Laughlin.
Maggie does a nice release. Look at her. Very nice form, very nice toes together. I love seeing that crispness in a gymnast. Has a nice big Tkachev there, catches it spot on. Her handstands look a little bit short. The judges are going to deduct for that. Here comes a big dismount, looks like. Double layout, one step on the landing, but overall, a pretty good routine. The judges will take a little bit for a little handstands, a little breakage, but other than that, that was solid.
And no doubt important to get a hit there for Denver after a fall in the opening position. So Laughlin gets the Pioneers back on track, setting it up for the last 4. And after a 9.9 from Chelsea Davis, Kat Hires gets to start her senior day on vault. The senior approaches the table. Yurchenko layout full. Stuck landing for Kat Hires. What a vault and what a way to start her senior day.
Oh my goodness, Kevin, I can tell you this is a wonderful highlight for Kat already. She is feeling good right now. That is a cherry on top of the vault lineup.
I'll tell you what, she came in very low on a couple vaults in the warm-up, crunched a few, but she saved her best for when it mattered right there. She's got 1.99. Does she have another? That's a 9.95, a 9.925 career high for Kat Hires. Great start to senior day.
That's what I'm talking about.
So Georgia has seen back-to-back career-high vaults. Chelsea Davis with a 9.9, Kat Hires a 9.925, and now the table is really set for the big 3 here, Rogers, Cheek, and Jay. Things are looking awfully good for Georgia on vault to start off. Now a score on bars. Looks like we have a start value issue here for Maggie Laughlin. One judge has it as a 9.9 start value, and it'll be a 9.6 for Laughlin. Up third for Denver, this is Julia Ross, 9.625, the score for Laughlin. Julia Ross in the third spot for the Pioneers, just waiting for the judges to give her the go-ahead. Unbelievable start for Georgia on vault, and Denver trying to pick things up on bars.
Now Julia is doing my old mount, which actually is a lot harder to learn when you than it looks. Here she goes mounting to the high bar. She's going to try to hit this first handstand solid. She really has beautiful lines. Hit that a little bit short. There she goes, nice release. She's coming up to a transition. She does a pack salto. Julia really has beautiful lines. For those watching, look, watch how she really does hit, and her body, her core does not change. That is something that you're going to be looking for and what the judges like. Her feet are together on every giant double A, and she has a pretty good stick landing. She sold that. She shuffled her feet a little bit. The judges usually don't catch that if you present fast enough, and that was a good routine by Julia.
Yeah, didn't get a ton of height on that double layout, but very clean landing and very good work on the bars throughout. So Georgia off to a phenomenal start on vault. They've got 3 of their 6 done, and now time to see the first 1.5 of the day. Brittany Rogers, the sophomore. Very well done, perhaps her best of 2014, just a small hop off to the side, but the landing's extremely controlled for Georgia today.
Absolutely, and that's what the judges are also going to be looking for, is how centered you are on the mat, and she was dead centered. She hopped a little bit back, but she didn't hop to either side, so that was really a great thing for Brittany to finish that on that note.
9-8 is the score for Julia Ross on bars. Big score coming for Brittany Rogers on vault. We've seen 1.995. It's a 9.925 for Brittany Rogers. That is a new season high and just a 1/4 of a tenth off of her career high. So Georgia 4 for 4 season high vaults to start the day. You can't do much better than that.
Gosh, they're setting breakneck speeds here.
Up fourth for Denver on bars, Melody Pulgar and Linero. Denver building those scores now after that opening 9-1, a 9.625 from Maggie Laughlin, 9.8 from Julia Ross, and now Pulgar and Linero trying to build on that.
You know, just going back to vault really quick, I will say something. I talked to Lindsay Cheek earlier this week. I said, what event are you the most excited? And most seniors, of course, naturally say floor, right? It's the ending, you know, the last, most emotional part with your parents right there. And she said, vault. Hands down, vault is the one I'm most excited for. I said, why? And she responded, you know, the adrenaline coursing through my body at that moment, and to be able to just sprint down that runway and bank on that emotion is going to be the best feeling. So I'm excited to see Lindsay's vault. And here we have Melody on the bars. She hits a nice first handstand. She just stalled her. Going into a release move, looks like it's going to be a Jaeger. Huge Jaeger, really great. Nice handstand on top again. Release down, transition to the low bar, back to the high bar. Her feet a little bit separate on that cast. Here she goes for a big dismount. Double layout, little piked, but stuck landing. That counts for something. Good routine.
Very well done, trying to build on that 9.8 from Julia Ross. And Trista set it up with that beautiful story about Lindsay Cheek. She had a career high 9.975 last week, and time now for her final vault in Stegman Coliseum in a home meet. Lindsay down the runway, Yurchenko layout full, step back on the landing. Beautiful vault, great positioning going over the table, great height, and just that little step back, probably the only deduction there for Lindsay.
You know what, but I don't think she's having any problem right now coping with that performance. I mean, vault is a group effort, and the group right now has set such a wonderful performance. There is nothing there to even consider not good enough.
9.9 for Lindsay Cheek. It'll keep Georgia rolling along. The Gym Dogs already have their high vault score of the year, even if Brandy J decided to skip vault and go right to bars. Georgia already in terrific positioning.
Ice cream break.
Pulgar and Linero gets a 9.85 for Denver. That is the high score so far for the Pioneers on bars. And you know, a lot of fans in Stegman Coliseum wanted that 10 for Cheek after she got so close last week. Everyone says, all right, senior day's the day. She does have one more vault coming in the regional at the beginning of April back here in this building, and she's capable of getting a 10 on the road just as capable as she is of getting one at home. She's going to plug one of these days and get it.
Absolutely, and there's no one event for Lindsay Cheek to get a 10 on. You know,
she
is not a one-hit wonder at all.
True story. Here is Nina McGee for Denver.
Nina does a nice 360, and you see an immediate transition right to the low bar, and here she goes back up to high bar to finish up this routine. Trying to hit this last handstand. That was a little bit short. That's all right. Here comes for a dismount, trying to get above the bar mat. That was one of the better dismounts I've seen. She does do a small hop on the landing, but, I mean, just look at her team's reaction. They are excited about that routine.
Yeah, Denver really picking it up here as they get on throughout their bars lineup. And now to finish things off for Georgia, Brandy J. Georgia again already with a season high on vault, 49.475. They'll be dropping a 9.825, and here is Brandy J, the anchor. Yurchenko 1.5. Stock landing for Brandy J. My goodness, what a vault! On senior day, it might be the sophomore that steals the show.
Good night, nurse. That was amazing.
The crowd wasting no time getting on their feet with signs wanting a 10.
Absolutely. They know what they're seeing right now. They know what caliber of gymnasts and what performance they saw. There's no way.
Oh, it's a 9975 for Brandy J. A 9975. She matches her career high, but is denied a perfect 10. The crowd, a huge ovation for the sophomore. What a vault that was, a 9975. What a vault rotation for Georgia. Everybody was locked in.
Man, I am telling you, when I said the combination of emotion and game mindset is lethal, sometimes it is lethal for a team, and you're seeing that in Georgia. Here we go.
Back on bars, tough act to follow. This is Mariah Martin.
Here we go from Mariah back on bars, transition down to the low bar. Here she goes to finish up her routine. She's going to do a nice kip cast right here, and she just falls short of that kip cast. Immediate dismount, small hop in the landing, but she is trying to sell that to the judges, trying to overcome, you know, that with a quick finish, and sometimes that does work.
9825 was the score for Nina McGee right before Mariah Martin, and we'll get a score here for Martin. We'll also get an exhibition vault for Lauren Johnson for Georgia. She's gotten exhibition quite a bit throughout this season. She was in the competition lineup last week, took a big hop back. She's just got so much power, and for the freshman, it's a matter of just learning how to harness that a little bit.
Absolutely, and know where to direct it, because she directs it a little bit too much forward. She needs to go up with it, and that looks like a pretty darn good vault, Kevin.
A sign of things to come, perhaps, for the freshman, who will be a mainstay in this lineup for the next few years. Very good vault. As you said, great height, cut down the distance a little bit, really cleaned up her landing nicely.
Absolutely, and when you ask these girls what Lauren brings to the team, I mean, they will tell you she is the class clown. That girl has got the jokes, the personality, the sass, everything that keeps those girls just laughing. I mean, what a great attribute to have as a teammate.
985 for Lauren Johnson. That is her highest vault score of the year, including exhibitions. So terrific job by her. The season and career highs extend even to the exhibition vaults. How about this? At the end of one rotation, we'll save that thought. We've got an exhibition bars routine here for Denver that will be the final thing we carry before taking a short break here at the end of rotation one.
Watching this exhibition, she just did a pack salto down the low bar, but missed her handstand immediately after that. She's kind of struggling a little bit on her rhythm on the bars, but she's picking up speed here. Does a huge dismount, double A full out, misses a step on the landing, but you know that landing is tricky when you throw such a big skill like that, and that was a risk that you're taking, you know.
At the end of one rotation, the Georgia Gym Dogs have their highest vault score of the year, their highest vault score perhaps in some time. We'll dig up through the numbers and figure it out. 49.625 for Georgia on vault, 48.925 for Denver on bars. Give the Pioneers some credit for bouncing back after that opening fall. They did not count a fall, did not have a score higher than 985, but got through that event and can now head to vault. Georgia will head to bars, where they are ranked #1 in the country, and the day off to a very good start.
Man, I'm telling you, this is going to be quite the rotation for Denver, because they're under a lot of intimidating factors right now, and you're going to see the mental toughness of this team. It's called make or break time, you know, so really excited to see this next event.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Kevin Kopp, Krista Tonella with you here on GeorgiaDogs.com. What a start to Senior Day 2014. Season highs, career highs abound, and the highest vault score in several years for the Georgia Gym Dogs, a 49.625, highlighted by a 9.975 from Brandy J, her second career 9.975 on vault. And now, after that enormous vault score, we go to bars, where Georgia's ranked #1 in the country. So things looking pretty good right now for the Gym Dogs.
Man, Kevin, after those videos, I don't know if it's just the emotion in the air, the sentiment of it all, but I need some tissues over here.
It's only going to get worse, too. Believe me, the second and the third ones they'll get you.
Well, in that case,
I didn't think that anyone would ever cry more than Krista Tonella did in her senior interview, and Lindsay Cheek put you to shame.
Really?
She had tears rolling down her cheeks.
Can't win them all. I don't mind handing over the title to crying to Lindsay Cheek. You know, it's all right.
That is the highest vault score since the 2009 Super 6, the last time that Georgia won a national championship. Highest vault score since the 2009 Super 6. That is thanks to Ben Beatty, the best sports information director in the country. You ask him any question, he's got you the answer before you get back on air, and we appreciate it. Now to the lineup on bars. No change in the lineup, as there has not been all season for Georgia. Brandy J leads off. Kat Hires will be second. Kiera Brown third. Lindsay Cheek fourth. Brittany Rogers fifth. And Chelsea Davis sixth. Georgia is coming off of their highest bar score of the season, their highest bar score since 1999, when last week they scored a 49.675. We'll see if they can duplicate that feat today. Denver, meanwhile, heads to vault. Emily Barrett will lead off. Nina McGee will be second. Caitlin Moorhead third. Rachel Felix will be fourth. Mariah Martin fifth. And Elise Sakai-Hart will be sixth.
You know, and Kevin, I actually talked to Kat Hires earlier this week, and I asked her, you know, what are some things that you've been working on this whole week that you really want to highlight come senior night? And she said one of the things was her overshoot on bars, that she has been working very hard on that skill. That skill has given her trouble throughout, you know, her years here, and so this skill has been her baby, and so she has really been working hard on this, and I just love to see her just knock it out of the park tonight.
Georgia was so locked in on bars a week ago, it felt like it would have been an appropriate senior night because Kat Hires had a career-high 9.925. Lindsay Cheek got one perfect 10, somehow got a 9.9 from the other judge, and ended up with a 9.95. So it was such a great bar set last week for Georgia. And I said, you know, one of the things that we've talked about this whole year, obviously this is your first time getting to actively talk about it, but we're just with the conversation all year, is bars has just been so darn good. And I think that a little bit on the part of the coaches, they resent the implication that they're just a bars team. As Dana has said all year, we have the ability to be just as good on beam, just as good on floor, just as good on vault. We just saw it on vault, 49.625. And I just think that it's not so much that Georgia is better equipped to be on bars. They've just got such a confidence on this event. You can feel it. There's no worry. There's no hesitation. There's no tentativeness.
Absolutely. And, you know, I would like to just say that bars is a very great event to just be sandwiched in the middle of the events. You know, it's not your first one. It's not your last one. There's not, you know, it's not 4 inches wide. So it really is an event that is so comfortable to be on in the middle of the meet. And, I mean, you are so focused on your hands throughout the bars. And there's just a great vault done, a little bit of a step back from Emily. Nice.
That is Emily Barrett leading things off for Denver on vault. That's the broadcaster's curse. Sometimes sometimes you get into a rhythm, and you know, you just don't want to stop. I thought we might get a replay on the board for that one. Doesn't look like we're going to be that lucky. So as Krista said, just a little bit of step off to the side there on that landing.
But like I was saying, I mean, you're so focused on your hands and on your swing. You're 8 feet off the air at all times. It's really easy to just get lost in the groove of bars. So it's really nice to it's a great event to lose your nerves, you know, and just calm down.
Part of why Georgia has been so good as a team scoring on bars is they've been started off so well by Brandy J in this leadoff spot. She has really made it her own. Back-to-back 9.9s entering this meet in that first spot for Georgia. We'll see if she can keep that going here. Long wait on the score for this first vault. Wonder if it's a start value issue. A little bit of an unusual vault there with the front handspring onto the board. The vault scores came up extremely quickly for Georgia throughout the entire first rotation, and they are deliberating right now.
You know, I talked to Suzanne earlier this week, and she was saying that the judges, a lot of times when they get thrown different vaults like that, they're not used to that, you know, because they see a repetitive.
So many Yurchenko folds,
exactly.
Yeah.
So when they get thrown, they almost have to like collaborate with each other. Like, do I have the score right? Do I have the start value right? What is this really worth?
So we'll let them hash that out as we get ready for Brandy J. She has had an exceedingly long wait here between the bars, so her team's dancing, clapping around, just trying to keep everything light and loose right now.
It looks like we got another vault going, Kevin. We do. Before Brandy's even going, we have another vault. This is going to be a Yurchenko half, hop on the landing, and a salute. It was all right, a little bit leg separation. Overall, an okay vault.
So perhaps we were looking at the final touch warm-up vault there, and then just got the first vault in competition, Emily Barrett. We might have jumped the gun. In any event, we'll move to bars and straighten that out. Brandy J, little arched on that first handstand, went over on the low bar. Trying to pick it up here, Shapashnikova, shoot over to handstand, little off there as well. Back up to the high bar, kip-cast handstand looks good. Blind change into her Horkina, excellent. Handstand for Brandy, maybe a touch short there. Full out, and finishes with a stuck landing. Some uncharacteristic mistakes there a little early on. Maybe just got her timing off with that long wait there, standing and getting ready to go. Not quite as clean as we've seen from her in the last couple weeks.
Yeah, you know what, and we can say about that routine, like sometimes you just nickel and dime yourself to death. You know, you'd say that just like a little bit here, a little bit here, a little bit here, and that adds up sometimes. But Brandy overall has been very consistent with her bars, and so that was a good routine put up. Here we go with Nina on the vault. There's a very unusual vault right there. The judges are going to have a hard time with that one too. But man, she's excited about that vault. Good landing. Look at her go down the runway. That is, you can tell she is like.
Oh, I hope our camera was following her down there. That was something.
You can tell she's
riding
the class
pony.
clown. That was great. I want to be her friend.
That seems like something. I know you didn't get to vault much in your career, but that seems like something we would have seen you do.
I've always wanted to just like slide across the vault my belly. You know, like give the judges something they don't expect. I'd give them something they don't expect.
Barrett opened with a 9.75. It looks like Nina McGee has matched that score. So back-to-back 9.75s. Brandy J ended up with a 9.825 despite a couple early errors there. So not a bad start at all for Georgia. Morgan Reynolds opened with a 9.825 on vault. You saw how that ended up.
That is a great score to build on, for sure.
So here is Kat Hires, 1 week removed from a season and career high 9.925. There's that heck mount over the low bar. First handstand is perfect on the high bar. Blind change. Piked Jaeger, excellent. Another great handstand for Kat. So deliberate throughout this routine. There's that shoot over to handstand that Krista mentioned. Back up to the high bar. Another beautiful handstand on the high bar for Kat. So deliberate, so precise in this routine. Two giants, double layout. Stuck landing for Kat Hires. She's 2 for 2. A magnificent bars routine for the senior.
I'm telling you, Kevin, her heart is in her throat right now. Look at the team. They are yelling for a 10, asking for a 10. Judges, give us a 10.
And this is only the second bars worker of 6 for Georgia. We've still got plenty to build on. Kat Hires has hit another level in the last few weeks. Back to vault now, Caitlin Moorhead.
She goes pop off the vault. She did a full small hop and landing. Her chest was down.
Kat Hires got a perfect 10 from one judge and a 9.9 from another. A career high 9.95 for the senior. The team absolutely lost their minds, and Kat Hires, a curtain call and a wave to the crowd for a career high 9.95. A perfect 10 from one judge for Kat Hires.
Man, I am telling you, Kevin, I have had the pleasure of training side by side with this girl, and I have seen how she has had to force her body to do the bars that she wanted, and that was such a testament of her hard work.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable right now what's happening for Georgia. Kiera Brown up third. Beautiful handstand, clear hip to handstand. Enormous Tkachev, so much air underneath that one. Another beautiful handstand for Kiera. The pack salto, the line is just gorgeous. Handstand, half pirouette. Back up to the high bar now. Final handstand is a good one. Dismount gave her some trouble last week. Beautiful full out, and just again a shuffle on that landing for Kiera Brown. She has so much height, and then just a little tentative there on the landing. Got a lineup change for Denver here at the last minute. It's going to be Pulgarin-Linero, Melanie Pulgarin-Linero going for Sakai Hart in the third spot. Up fourth, though, this is Rachel Felix.
Nice. Rachel just did a Yurchenko full off with that hop on the landing. Her chest was higher than the vault we saw before that, so that definitely helps her. That hop is going to be from anywhere from 1 to 3 tenths, depending on what the judges want to take on that. So that does hurt a vault, but I think that overall, I mean, Denver is just really trying to knock out some really high vaults, get really good amplitude, and so, I mean, this is nice to watch.
9.875 for Kiera Brown. We earlier had a 9.825 from Caitlin Moorhead. We lost that score in the Kat Hires 9.95 melee. 9.8 was the score there on the most recent vault, the Yurchenko full for Felix. There are 2 left for Denver on vault. There are 3 left for Georgia on bars. And now Lindsey Cheek, the senior. First handstand, dead on top of the high bar, toe on, toe off. Handstand is beautiful. Huge to Tkachev. As always, another great handstand for Lindsey. Shoot over to handstand.
Oh my gosh, that was gorgeous.
Perfect, and just held it there on the low bar. So hard to do. Final handstand looks good. 2 giants. Double layout. Stuck landing for Lindsey Cheek. And Stegman Coliseum erupts for the senior. The Athens native and a 4-year fan favorite has got this crowd chanting for a 10.
Man, and when you ask Lindsey what it is like to be the hometown hero, I am telling you, she says that she wouldn't have it any other way.
She has embraced competing for her hometown, her home state. Back to vault, Mariah Martin.
Yurchenko full, hop of the landing, excellent repulsion. That was beautiful.
Lindsey Cheeks, a 9.975 for Lindsey Cheek. She gets her 3rd perfect 10 in the last 2 weeks, but she just can't put them together on the same event. It's a career high 9.975 for Cheek. Denied a 10 yet again.
Just by the skin on her chinny chin chin. Man, and she is just working it. And you can tell this crowd just has such a heart for their Athens natives.
9.875 for Mariah Martin. A beautiful vault there for Denver. They'll have 1 left in the anchor spot. Pulgar and Linero, a late sub. Back to bars, where Georgia is dialed in. Brittany Rogers, beautiful first handstand. Stalled her into Harikna. Excellent. Another good handstand for Brittany. Shoot over to handstand. Uphill back to the high bar. Last handstand looks good. Giant full out. Stuck land. Ooh. Just the salute got her a little bit. Step back on the landing for Brittany. Otherwise, very well done.
Absolutely, and like I said, the best thing in that situation, when you feel your weight shifting backwards, you want to pop up, raise your arms, and tell the judges, I'm done. I finished my routine. And so that's what she was trying to do there. And, you know, sometimes you pull it off, and sometimes you barely, you know, can avoid that the judge is looking down at your feet. But here we go back on vault. We're going to head in for nice Yurchenko, full out, big step, and she slid that front foot. So that doesn't count just as 1 step. That's going to count as 1 plus some because she slid that front foot. But she went down. She does a little little celebration thing with her teammates. That was cute.
So they're staying loose, at least the Pioneers are. And again, Melody Pulgar and Linero was a late sub there in the anchor spot. Actually, that came to us during the rotation. And good vault there, or excuse me, a 9.725 for Pulgar and Linero. It is a 9.9 for Brittany Rogers. Again, just the trouble on the dismount. Judges seem to like everything else they saw. And now to bring it home for Georgia, Chelsea Davis. First handstand locked on the high bar. Beautiful to Tkachev. Another great handstand for Chelsea. Toe on, toe off handstand is excellent. Shoot over to handstand just perfect. And again, held there on the low bar for that extra second. Back up to the high bar. Last handstand is wonderful. Now the dismount for Chelsea. Double layout. Step back on the landing. Everything else was perfect, just a small step on the landing.
Man, I'm telling you though, something I love watching about Chelsea's bars is that her toes are glued together. And I cannot tell you how hard that is as a gymnast to do, not only in just training your body to do that, but in actually forming your feet to fit together perfectly like that. Lots of times you'll see gymnasts that just have their toes together and their heels are separate. But Chelsea really does a good job in getting both feet together.
Exhibition here from Elise Sakai-Hart.
Here we go, Melise. I mean, nice. And she did front handspring on, half off. Very hard vault to do, but, you know, overall, she had a very low landing, But I mean, that's why you put them in for exhibition so that they can have this experience and really learn how to handle the nerves.
Chelsea Davis with a 9.9. Georgia goes 49.6 on bars. Again, the second 9.975 of the day. This one belongs to Lindsey Cheek. That is now the 4th time this year that Georgia has gone over 49.5. The 3rd time this year that Georgia's gone 49.6 or higher.
That is crazy, and what a great night to do it, but senior night. This is awesome.
Well, a great start for Georgia, and now they head to Beam. And again, some lineup changes for Georgia as they get ready to go to the 3rd event. And Christy, you've been here for every home meet this season. You've seen this has been a team that basically at every point, every halfway point, because of bars and vault, has been in such great position. What do you have to do now to just keep the energy rolling the way it is as you head to Beam?
Man, I'm telling you, I think amnesia is just such a great characteristic of gymnasts when it comes to, performing on different events. And again, like if you talk to the team, they say we train like a championship team in practice, but a lot of times it comes down to Beam as make or break for us. And so it's like they don't like that characteristic that it's always kind of dependent on Beam. And so they've really been working to get kind of like this just in a zone when it comes to Beam, to just get up there and just do it like they're training. And for some reason, there's a lot of emotion on this event,
Denver with a 49 flat on vault brings their total to a 97.925. Georgia goes 49.6 on bars after a 49.625 on vault. The Gym Dogs are well above the pace for the highest score in the nation so far this year. If they can keep it going on beam and floor, Georgia has a 99.225 right now through vault and bars. Settle for even a 198.3 probably right now. If I guess I could live with that.
Kevin, I really want to know, do you ever, does your excitement after they land stuck dismount, does that ever ebb?
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. It is constant flow. There is no ebb to it.
Man, I love it. There is nothing like a Kevin Kopp, exclamation after a dismount. I couldn't do it better myself.
I'm waiting for a perfect 10 call here. It's been a long time coming. Grace Taylor on beam in 2010 versus UCLA. It was the last one for Georgia, the last one here in Stegman Coliseum. Long time coming. We've got 6 chances at it on balance beam. Georgia's lineup, some small changes here. Mary Beth Box remains in the leadoff spot. Morgan Reynolds back in the lineup for the first time in 5 weeks. She will be number 2. Brittany Rogers will be up 3rd. Kiera Brown making her 3rd consecutive start on beam. She'll be 4th. Lindsey Cheek is 5th. And Kaylin Earls, the 3rd of the seniors, who has yet to compete today, she'll be in the anchor spot on beam.
And I talked to Kaylin, and Kaylin said, out of all the skills, if I could land one skill for this meet and just knock it out of the park, it would be my double back dismount on the beam.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, she has got that locked in over the last couple weeks. It was kind of a liability for her the last few years. I think we saw a lot of beam routines for Kaylin where everything on the beam itself was perfect. She's got that series down cold, everything else looked good, and then it got to the double tuck, she'd take a step back on the landing and go 9.9, and now she's been hitting it with consistency. She's had several 9.95s this year, and who knows, that perfect 10 is out there for somebody.
Absolutely. You ask her teammates and they will tell you consistency, consistency, consistency. Those are Kaylin's attributes. Among the other ones were a fierce attitude, okay? Very feisty, all right? I like these. These are great attributes to have, especially for Kaylin.
Only one score so far for Georgia through the first 2 rotations below a 9.9. That was a 9.875 from Kiera Brown. One score that was counted. Georgia has dropped to 9.825s. And an interesting note, this is the first time all season that Georgia has had 2 different events go above a 49.5. So Georgia just came out of the gate on fire on vault. Terrific bar set for Georgia, 49.6 on bars. And now, here we go to beam.
Here we go to beam,
Mary
the defining event.
It has been that for Georgia, and again, I want to remind people, because it has been an easy tendency to say, oh, what's wrong with Georgia's beam? By the way, this is the number 5 ranked beam team in the country and the number 5 ranked team overall in the country, so beam is pretty darn good.
You know what, and that just goes to show that beam is the hardest event to tackle for every team in the nation.
So here we are, Mary Beth Box in the leadoff spot for Georgia. Has been so consistent all this season, and it is her birthday today. What better way to celebrate your birthday than here at Stegman Coliseum? Unfortunately, a little bit of a break for her on that tuck full.
And it is so nice.
Great back handspring layout. That
was beautiful. It is so nice to see the artistry coming out from, we'll call her Boombox, but I guess I can call her Mary Beth Box for the radio. The artistry has really been something that they have worked on, and so her fingers, you're going to see the extension just coming all the way out there.
Couple of balance checks here on the leap series for Mary Beth. As you used the phrase earlier, Krista, just nickeling and diming herself a little bit.
Absolutely.
Front aerial there.
You know, and like I said, there's a lot of emotion in this meet, you know, and the beam is one of those where you don't want to feel this emotion.
And it's not just for the seniors, it's for the underclassmen as well, wanting to give their best for the senior class. And Mary Beth has a terrific dismount on that round off 1.5. She finished very strong, and she didn't let her mistakes magnify themselves. She kept them small.
Absolutely. Like I said before, there's such power in amnesia. And here we go on floor with Maggie. She's going to start off.
Maggie Laughlin in the leadoff spot for Denver. Leah Lamonte will be second, Jory Hall third, Caitlin Moorhead fourth, Nina McGee fifth, and Mariah Martin sixth. So again, Maggie Laughlin in the leadoff spot for the Pioneers.
She's going for her first pass. Here we go. We're going to see a nice double pike. Excellent landing. I'm very impressed with that. This is a very pretty dance. We're seeing her get very into it. You see her chin, her eyes, everything are very engaged with the crowd, with the judges.
Laughlin has a season high this year of 9.825 for Denver.
Excellent leap. She went a little bit short, didn't rotate all the way on that straddle half there. Here she goes for her second pass. Round off, 1.5, punch layout. Now what the judges are looking for on that pass is they're looking for the second flip to be higher than the first one. So her 1.5 should have been lower, her punch layout should have been higher. It was a little bit opposite in her case. They will deduct just a little bit for that. But very pretty dance. She's keeping the attention of the judges with how engaged she is in this floor team.
A little scoring issue here for Mary Beth Box. It was initially a 9.775 that was put on the scoreboard. That's been changed to a 9.725. So a 9.725 for Mary Beth.
Maggie Laughlin going for her last pass here. We're going to see punch, front full punch layout. And good clean landing. That was controlled. The judges love that. Cue ending with the camera snapshots. I love that. Our crowd loved that. Look at them giving her just the applause that she deserves. That was a great routine.
Absolutely. Good way for Denver to start things off on floor. Statistically, it is their second best event behind vault. Excelling at those leg events. And here is, for the first time in a while, Morgan Reynolds, the freshman, back on beam. She last competed at Florida, so has had about a month off, back in the competition lineup. Punch front, great start. Really good looking start for Morgan Reynolds. Back handspring layout, no problem there.
Kevin, I just love this girl. I'm telling you, she has just got such a strength about her that I find it very addicting about her personality. She just got such a...
Just a little wobble there on the full turn. Small balance check, not even a wobble, really.
Absolutely.
Well, you know why you like her. She's probably the closest person on this team to a Krista Tonella.
No way.
I think so.
Really?
I think there's a lot of similarity. I think the energy there, great side summy.
Absolutely.
She even does the same skills on beam. Come on, side summy.
Man, I'm telling you, I wish that was my skill. I would love to call that skill something different than a side summy. That was a great dismount.
Round off double full, small hop back on the landing. Excellent routine for Morgan Reynolds, back in the beam lineup for the first time in over a month and does a great job.
Absolutely. I mean, I love, like you said, she has such a great personality she brings to the team. The team, I mean, between her and Lauren Johnson, I mean, they have such a comedian act on that team. They just go back and forth. And we're seeing on the floor for Denver, Leah Lamonte. Here we go, second. She's going to go for her first pass here.
Maggie Laughlin, by the way, opened with a 9.775.
She's going to go in for her first pass with the mat, a double Arabian. Now she stepped to the side and she had knee separation. So those are the things that the judges are going to be looking for. But that is a hard skill to land, and she landed it.
9.8 is the score for Morgan Reynolds. Very nice job.
Now this routine is a little bit different in just the whole artistry of it. She's going kind of pose by pose here to the music. It's very much of a strength routine, you see. Here she goes, switch side, straddle full, a little under rotated, didn't get her feet all the way together. Again, these are the things that the judges are going to be looking for to take away from a skill. Very powerful music. Says a lot about, you know, possibly her tumbling. You're always going to try to find a music that fits the gymnast and not try to make the gymnast fit to the music. Here we go. She's going to go for her second pass. She gets ready, back in the corner, takes a couple breaths, and here she goes. Round off whip, back handspring, double pike, and like I said, this music, powerful, is for the gymnast. Powerful tumbler.
Tell you what, she's a freshman. I just looked down. Her career high is a 9.575. Can you believe that, given the difficulty and the skill with which she executed there? Very good routine.
Yes, absolutely. And we only saw 2 passes. Was that right?
I believe you're right. But when you've got
absolutely.
I think those might be 2 E's, if not an E and a D. And with Gina Nuccio, if you recall in recent years, if you get enough difficulty sandwiched in there, you can do it. It's rare.
And that's perfect, because you don't need that much difficulty. You just need 2 big skills, and she did that perfectly.
Back to beam now, Brittany Rogers. Cat leap, switch leap, split quarter. It's a little bit of a change in that leap series for Brittany. Back handspring layout series. Good job there. Tiny bit off to the side, but held on to it well. No big break. Full turn.
I am telling you, can I just say that I love Brittany Rogers, or as we affectionately call her, B-Rog. I love the way that her hands and her arms move. They're flowing. I mean, there's no disconnect. There's no board movement when she dances.
And of course, the Rogers, always to the delight of this home crowd, and she executed it spectacularly there.
Her dance is mesmerizing. The judges are, look at them, they are engaged.
As they should be.
Absolutely. That is a goal of a gymnast, you know, to win the crowd, to win the judges through your performance.
Full twisting back handspring fold. Great dismount, great routine for Brittany Rogers.
And she looks happy with that.
She's been so valuable this year for Georgia because the second spot in this lineup has given the Gym Dogs so many issues. It feels like so many weeks she has been following a fall. Now she gets to follow a hit routine at 9.8, was able to execute to the exact level that we've seen week in, week out from her.
Absolutely. That is something that we should expect from B-Rog, and we see it. I mean, talk about awesome performance. Here we go on floor with Jory Hall.
That is after a 9.8 from Lamonte. Terrific routine in the second spot. 9.775, 9.8, so a consistent beginning for Denver, and now Jory Hall up third.
Jory starts off. She looks very, very precious just on the floor. I can just tell by, look at that. Ooh, beautiful. She moved that front leg just a little bit. It slid back. I saw it, but you know what? That was a huge double pike. I love this dance. I love this.
It's a 9.85 for Brittany Rogers. So Georgia's building those scores, but now wanting to take that next leap and start throwing up some more 9.9s here. Don't forget, you've got Lindsay Cheek and Caitlin Earls, 2 seniors in those final 2 spots, both coming off of 9.95s last week.
And here with Jory's dance, you see a little bit of a slower dance. It's a dance that allows the gymnast to catch her breath so that she's not breathing so hard when she gets back to the corner. She's going to go for a pass, round off 1.5 punch layout. And again, you want that second layout to be, if not even, a little bit higher than your first skill.
Season high for Jory Hall is a 9.85 on floor.
Last pass, here we go. She gets ready in the corner and takes off. Let's see what this is. A double tuck. Very well done. Jory will be happy with her score on that floor routine.
Yeah, Denver rolling along here on floor. Very good start. And now Kiara Brown, the freshman for Georgia, competing for the third consecutive meet here. She made her debut at Auburn 2 weeks ago, a 9.85 and a 9.825. She has really been a great presence at a critical spot in the Georgia beam lineup here in this fourth position. Good full turn. Ready for her series here. Back handspring layout, great. 9.825 comes up for Jory Hall, so Denver continues to build their scores slowly but steadily. Georgia trying to do the same here after a 9.8 and a 9.85. Switch leap, straddle quarter.
You know, watching Kiara now, I have no hesitancy. I have no feelings like she is unconfident in herself. There is just such a solidness on every skill and such a crispness in every landing. I'm convinced that she knows she's nailing it.
I think you've nailed it right on the head there, Krista. You're absolutely right. For having only 3 career routines under her belt, no, you do not have to worry about her. She has been locked in since the moment she got the call up into that lineup. Just the dismount remaining for Kiara. Round off 1.5. Little hop to the side on the dismount, but overall very nicely done.
And that was just a little bit of a hop, and I don't think the judges will take that much on that hop. With anything, I think maybe even a 10, but nothing more than that, I don't think.
She'll be right in that range that she's been in her last 2 weeks, 9.825, 9.85. And
right.
Just keeping it rolling now, and it's up to Georgia with Cheek and Earls there, the 2 seniors, to put some big numbers up and get this beam lineup up to snuff. And now Caitlin Moorhead.
Caitlin Moorhead on floor is going for her first pass. Here we see a double pike. Okay, so a little bit of hop back. She raised that planted foot, which does end up costing her more tenths in the long run.
She did very well to keep herself from stepping backwards out there and avoiding that 1/10 neutral deduction. She really hung on to it.
Better to raise that plant foot than to take that bigger step out of bounds. Absolutely. Leap pass. She's going to do a tour jeté, hop, straddle full.
It is a 9.825, by the way, for Kiara Brown. Lindsay Cheek and Kaylin Earls left for Georgia.
Very powerful music by Denver. She has a front layout, front full, controlled landing. You know, I love watching the different artistry from the different teams. You can definitely tell there's a very much of like the choreographers, you know, how they differ in their fortes and how they make choreography fit to the gymnast, and then how that gymnast makes that choreography their own. So watching Caitlin Moorhead, you know, really just cool seeing her, you know, with this like a little bit of a rock background. She's going to her third pass, a double back, step back landing, very nice. Very cute, loved that routine.
So Georgia kind of mired in that 9.8 to 9.85 range right now. Not going to match the heights of those first 2 rotations where Georgia was better than a 49.6, but a chance here for Lindsay Cheek and Kaylin Earls to pick it up and make something special happen on senior day. Already a great day for Lindsay Cheek, a 9.9 on vault and a 9.975 career high on bars.
Man, I'm telling you, Kevin, if they can just get through these 2 routines, knock them out, they are going to be set to go home free. The floor is not going to be a problem for them to handle.
Back handspring layout is perfect from Lindsay Cheek.
Lindsay obviously having picked her beam music. Loves to bank on the Michael Jackson just theme.
Yeah,
handed down from Cassidy McComb.
This is the final moonwalk with the Michael Jackson music, and it's the moments like that that certainly make senior day special. Great side aerial, and here it is.
There it goes. Oh, don't you love that? But Stegman, do not worry, for Lindsay Cheek will hand that down to another freshman, and that should be, you know, a signature piece for their routine next year.
And unfortunately, a little bobble for Cheek, who likely had a perfect routine going to that point. Just a little balance check on the leap combination there. Dismount remaining for Cheek. Cat leap, gainer full, stuck landing for Lindsay Cheek in her final Stegman Coliseum home routine. A terrific senior day for the Athens native.
For the University of Denver, next, Nina McGee.
Here we go on floor with Nina McGee. She's in the 5th place for Denver. Another powerhouse, so we should see some big tumbling here. You know, her style almost reminds me of Lamencia.
Yeah. And if you're getting that kind of
layout,
she got the same first pass. She looked pretty darn good. If you're drawing comparisons to Lamencia Hall on floor, you are doing something right. One of the best floor workers, if not the best in the country.
Look at this. She is just going after it. The judges love this. This is something that is so lost in gymnastics because it's hard to focus on skills, dance up to the crowd, keep your breath, and do it all while keeping focus. So when a gymnast can show a routine like this where they get lost in it, the crowd gets lost in it, the judges get lost in it. Here she goes, second pass, front full, front layout. It was an all right. She did a little bit hops on the end there. Look at this dance. I'm loving this, Kevin.
Meanwhile, we have a start value issue with Lindsay Cheek's beam. One judge has it as a 9.6 start value, the other has her at a 9.7. So I guess with that leap connection, that little balance check, they didn't give her that connection. She lost the bonus, and it's not a 10.0 start value. So unfortunately, that little miscue may turn out to be a big one. Don't know if Georgia will inquire and see about trying to see what the judges saw. Great double pike finish.
Wow, and that's amazing. I mean, to finish with a double pike, talk about power. That girl has power, and she definitely showed it off with those skills.
So 1.945 and 1.97 for Lindsay Cheek. Start value issue there with the missed connection. And unfortunately, certainly not the last moment that you want to remember here in Stegman. Luckily, she's got the regional still.
Absolutely. And, you know, it's very difficult on beam because when you do miss one thing, sometimes that skill proves to bite you in the butt a lot harder than other skills because there's a required for that connection to be there. So when you break that skill, that's going to hit you a lot harder than if you just missed a single bigger skill.
And in fact, the judges confer, and actually they change it to the lower start value, a 9.6 start value. Both judges agree, so it's going to end up being a 9.475 for Lindsay Cheek. That will be obviously the score that Georgia hopes to drop, barring a fall from Kaylin Earls, and they will have to count a 9.725 for Mary Beth Box. So Georgia in a little bit of trouble right now on beam, but you've always got Kaylin Earls there in the leadoff spot.
Absolutely.
That's capable of doing big things.
You know what? And picking the music for your beam routine is such a big part of just a consideration that you go through all fall and you try on different musics. And I mean, you can hear this music by Beyonce that Kaylin picked, and the words say, "I was here, I left my mark," you know. And gosh, don't you just want to cry when you think about that paired up with this routine right here?
Beautiful sentiment from the song, and Kaylin matches it with a beautiful back handspring layout. Kaylin has had to wait to get her senior day started after Kat and Lindsay both competed on the first 2 events. Switch leap, straddle quarter, no problem there for Kaylin.
You know, and Kaylin's had some trouble training in the gym because of an injury, and so she's been off and on in training, but gosh, talk about not being phased. This girl doesn't get phased by anything. Doesn't matter if she trains 2 hours or 20 hours, she's going to approach it the same way.
Great side aerial for Kaylin, and she is in great shape right now.
Here she goes, that skill that she wanted to nail. If there was any skill, she wanted to nail this one. Let's see if she can pull it off.
Kaylin Earls, final beam dismount. And just a small hop back for Kaylin, but overall a terrific routine.
That was awesome.
And she's still got one left. on floor for Georgia, where she is so much fun to watch, and it'll be exciting to see both Kat and Kaylin finish their senior days on floor exercise. But before we get there, we've got Mariah Martin. She is following a 9.875 from Nina McGee. Terrific floor routine that we got to see from Denver right before this one.
And Mariah just trots off the floor. There must have been something wrong with music there. That's always a fun
bad
little
feeling, sure. Wait a minute.
A fun little hiccup to go through.
Something's not right.
You know, one time I actually did see a gymnast who had the wrong music played, and she decided to go through the routine with that music. So she made up her whole routine with music that wasn't her own.
Wow.
Never something that you always just want to walk off the floor, you know, and that's what Mariah did. And here she goes, starting the floor with the right music.
9.875, by the way, for Kaylin Earls, and a 49.075 on beam for Georgia.
She did a double Arabian. Okay, deep squat. She didn't move her feet, but deep squat, which also is going to take a deduction there. But again, such a hard skill to land that being impressed with that, you know, the judges are going to be so impressed with that a lot of times they overlook small hiccups like that. Got a fun little beat going on floor here. Awesome pass, 1.5, punch half to a double stack. That is to a punch front after that even. I mean, talk about just adding on skill after skill. This is great.
A little bit like Brandy J's second pass, which just loads up so many building and connecting elements. You really need so much power through that entire sequence.
And you see, again, a little bit of a slower dance here from Mariah. You see very much, you know, not big movements, a little bit of she's being stationary in the floor, you know, which is a great way to help a gymnast catch her breath while she's getting ready to, you know, perform a pass in a corner. So I'm really hoping to see a big pass right here that she's prepared herself for, you know, the last 10 seconds. And it is a double tuck, a hop back. She does go out. That's going to cost her, but that's okay. She's going to finish up really strong. And she does. Great ending. She's going to go off the floor in that last spot, feeling all right. And maybe that is a score that that they can drop.
Yeah, Denver already in good standing, 49.075 on floor before that routine began. So already it is their highest rotation of the day. And actually, Denver poised to match Georgia, who has a 49.075 on beam. So this, unfortunately for Georgia, just not quite able to match the highs of those first two rotations on beam. And now, as if you watch the Gym Dog show this week, you heard Dana say in her speech to the team, let's take the party to floor. Georgia looks like they're not showing any ill effects of a little bit of a subpar beam rotation. You know, they hit but had some difficulties here and there. Of course, Lindsay Cheek, the start value issue with her missed connection. So now Georgia just got to pick it up and have some fun on floor exercise.
Absolutely. And when you, I mean, like they said, we train like national champions in the gym. It's just whenever we start competing that we have a little bit of a trouble. So just knowing that, they're obviously not phased because they understand that beam is a work in progress at this point in their season, and just like you said, they're 5th in the nation on beam. So this is not going to be a huge downfall in their, you know, mental approach to this meet. This is something that's kind of understood by the team, that they're going to just continue to keep approaching and knocking out those hiccups. You know, definitely a confidence issue maybe.
It appears we may have a floor exhibition here for Denver. Georgia started over to floor, and then everyone kind of got bottled up and came back.
I saw that.
9.8 appears to be the score for Mariah Martin. Took a long time to arrive at that score. 9.8 for Martin, so it's actually a 49.1 for Denver. So they will actually make up just a smidgen of ground on Georgia. It is, oh, excuse me, a 9.7 with the 1/10 neutral deduction. 9.8 minus the 1/10, 9.7. So that is the score that's dropped. They do not make up any ground. Denver finishes with a 49.075 on floor. So your scores at the 3-quarter mark: 148.3 for Georgia, 147 flat for Denver. Georgia with a commanding lead, but we have a floor exhibition here for Denver.
Love when floor music starts out with such great violin. And this sounds like crystallized music, which is just a great violin piece. Double pike, hop on the landing. pretty artistry. Again, it seems like Denver has a little bit of that slower artistry where they kind of stay a little bit more stationary on the floor. That may just be their choreographer's, you know, kind of preference.
I believe that this is Rachel Felix, the freshman, getting to exhibition for Denver.
Rachel's a gorgeous dancer. I mean, she moves with her whole body, and I love when that happens, when it's not just limbs moving. It's, you know, step back and a fall. That's okay. This is why we exhibition. This is why you give freshman experience. It's one thing to handle in the gym. It's a whole nother to feel, you know, the weight of the world on your shoulders and flip with that weight on your shoulders, you know.
And to do it with on the road, no less, in an exhibition environment is extremely difficult. One thing to do it at home and another thing to do it in an environment like this.
Absolutely. And the intimidation of a crowd. I mean, I'm telling you, Georgia, we have fans that love being here, and that is unlike any other, you know, gym in the nation. So it's very intimidating performing in an environment like this.
Though I will say this, we're going to Salt Lake City next week, and you want to talk about an imposing road environment.
That is
Huntsman
true.
Center can compete with Stegman Coliseum for sure. So that's one to look forward to. Number 5 Georgia, number 6 Utah. The regular season finale is next Saturday at 9:00 p.m. Eastern. We'll have live audio from the Rockies. So something to look forward to there. But here we are getting ready to wrap up Senior Day 2014. Georgia honoring Lindsey Cheek, Kaylin Earls, and Kat Hires, and we'll take a final look at these interviews with these 3 seniors, talking about what they will miss most about being a Georgia Gym Dog.
Kevin, am I going to have to get you some Kleenex?
I think if I'm a little teary at the start of floor, you'll know why.
Let's just put it this way. I'm glad we're on air and not on camera, okay?
That's
I don't
right.
want your makeup to start smearing.
That's an ugly sight. Nobody needs that. I didn't wear the waterproof mascara today, so.
Rats, that was a mistake.
Well, on that note, we will take a break. You are watching live coverage of Georgia Gymnastics on GeorgiaDogs.com from IMG. Ready for a dismount and a double top.
Oh! Stuck landing! I'm sorry if I just hurt everyone's ears, because that was so exciting.
Wow.
The most that I miss about being a Georgia Gym Dog is being around such amazing, talented, beautiful ladies. I love them dearly, and also being under that light. I just like the limelight. I like being a star, and that's what I think I miss the most.
Up to the high bar. Good handstands in this routine for Kat.
Very clean.
2 giants, double layouts.
Oh!
Landing for Kat Hires. What a routine from the senior.
Oh my gosh, just looking at her face, you know how excited she is. And
Not just a season high, a career high for Kat Hires. Unbelievable.
to do it her senior year.
That's terrific.
I would just say, you know, having the relationship that I have and the bond with my teammates, and, you know, just being able to call myself a gym dog and have people be like, wow, that's awesome, you know, and like, it's such a cool feeling, and it gives you such pride to be able to call yourself a gym dog and to live the legacy, you know, like to live in the tradition that has been established here. And I think, I mean, I'll always be in there. I'll always be part of that tradition, and it'll always be within me, you know, but just being able to say that I'm here with my team, and, you know, like, I'm part of something that nobody else gets to be a part of, and it's just, I'm going to miss that insanely, and I'm going to miss going through this with my team every day, you know, and the fight that we put through every day. It's just, I'm just going to miss it. I am.
The Athens native competing here at Stegman Coliseum approaches the table. Yurchenko layout full. What a vault from Cheek.
Just being a Georgia Gym Dog, that's what I'm going to miss. You know, as a little kid, that's all I ever wanted to do, is to be a gymnast here at Georgia. And when I was younger, I didn't think about everything that came along with competing in Stegman. And now that I'm here, I'm going to miss every aspect of being a student athlete here. And really just being able to compete in front of 10,000 people in the crowd who love to watch you compete.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Kevin Kopp, Krista Tonella here for GeorgiaDogs.com. Senior Day 2014 in Stegman Coliseum as the Gym Dogs and this home crowd of 10,000 in Stegman say farewell to the three seniors, Lindsay Cheek, Kaylin Earls, and Kat Hires. This is not the final home meet. Technically speaking, we will be back in Athens for the NCAA Regional on April 5th, and we will have free live video on GeorgiaDogs.com of that 6-team event. But you've been here for a regional in Athens. You don't get the fireworks. You don't get to run out of the tunnel. You're in your own building, and it's predominantly your own fans, but it's more of a neutral site.
Absolutely.
And so nothing is like this. And so for the three seniors, it's always a special day, but it becomes even more so when we head to floor exercise. You get the tradition of the parents being down there, getting to watch at close range on floor. This is always an extremely emotional moment.
Absolutely. You asked Kat Hires, Kat, what event are you looking forward to the most on this meet? And she said, by far, hands down, floor. I said, why? And she said, my dad. My dad. 2 words. That was it.
That gets you right there, for sure.
Kevin, stop crying.
That does. That really is something. And Kat loves floor. She does. She always says it's her favorite event. It's the one. She has worked so hard to be the part of the bars lineup that she is, and it's incredibly gratifying to see what she was able to do on bars over the course of this season, and especially today. But when floor matters so much to you, and you have the added element of your parents being right there to watch, that's special. But I'll tell you what, I don't think anything that happens on floor exercise, for me, the moment of the entire day was Kat Hires getting that one perfect 10 on bars and watching the team just go nuts. But right now, this is pretty special too. The team having their little dance party out on the floor, and everyone looks loose, everyone looks happy.
Man, I'm telling you, that is such a great way to just loosen nerves, is just to like dance together like that. Just kind of be silly, and you'll see a lot of energy. You just break loose, you know. But I will say about the parents being on the floor, Kevin, is that, like, you know, we grow up with always our parents are in the stands, you know. So and you know, after the meets, you just want to, like, especially when you're young, you run up, you know, like, want that I'm so proud of you, I'm so, you know, that kind of thing. So there is no prouder moment for a parent than this moment right here, seeing all what their daughter has accomplished in their collegiate career and in their career as a gymnast, and for a gymnast to be just 4 feet from their parents. You know, you can hear their voice in your ear while you're tumbling. Like, this is a moment that is unprecedented. A lot of the fans, I think, see it as like a sentimental moment, like, oh, how sweet the parents are down, but I don't think they really understand how much this means.
That's very well said, and a perspective that you can only get from a year ago. You were doing the same thing. We were here against Arkansas about a year ago to the day, actually. And
Arkansas? No, Utah.
Utah last year, that's right. See? That's good. It's good to have you here. Someone's got to keep me in line.
Don't you get sassy. I know exactly what competing is.
Georgia on floor. Morgan Reynolds leading off. Kat Hires will be second. Brittany Rogers third. Mary Beth Box fourth. Kaylin Earls fifth. And Brandy J will be sixth. No change from a week ago when Georgia shook up the lineup top to bottom. On beam for Denver, Leah Lamonte leading off. Elise Sackey-Hart will be second. Jory Hall will be third. Julia Ross fourth. Mariah Martin fifth. And Nina McGee will end the day for Denver. But up first on the beam, Leah Lamonte.
And Leah was the one that we saw, you know, on the vault and on the floor, correct? We've seen her do several performances here. She does a little bit of a wobble there. She's trying to be very clean, very precise on the beam. Okay, we have a chicken flip, a little bit of a wobble there again. Not actually what Denver is going to be looking for on their first beam routine.
Yeah, Lamonte was the leadoff on bars, actually took that fall for Denver at the start of the meet. She had a 9.8 on floor.
Just getting ready for another skill here. We have a back handspring layout, but she knocks that out of the park. you know, I love Leah's skills. Very, very pretty skills. Dance. Nice dismount, landed it. Like I was saying, dance is a little bit choppy, so such a contrast. I want fans to see the contrast between the different dance of Denver and then compared to our girls. The flow is going to be a lot different. That's something that is the difference in 20th place and 5th place.
Yeah, and sometimes it's easy to focus on just the skills themselves and the execution of those skills. There is an artistic element, especially on beam and floor. There's so much more than just checking the boxes and hitting the skills that goes into it.
Absolutely.
Here is Morgan Reynolds getting things started. Excellent first pass for Morgan. That front handspring Rudy into that back layout step out.
What a great smile. So contagious. So contagious. And you can hear the claps of the fans as they just love this.
Yeah, she's kind of going to inherit that role of Athens native fan favorite once Lindsay Cheek departs. Her second pass, a double pike.
And Lindsay knows that. She even said, you know, it's so different looking up in the stands and seeing faces that you've grown up with and faces that you've trained with. And I'm passing that down to Morgan, you know, and it's really cool to have this like Athens home native, you know, hero to pass things down to.
So she gets to pass down the moonwalk, and she passes down the love of her hometown to Morgan Reynolds. They're sharing it this year. Morgan, good start, very clean double pike on that second pass, clean landing. Lamonte opened with a 9-7 on beam, and Morgan is setting up for her final pass here.
You know, I used to love watching this movie called The Gladiator, and in it, obviously they are competing.
Oh, just a little shuffle and stutter step there on the back 1.5 front layout. Had a good clean routine going. Unfortunately, just a little shuffle there on the final pass.
Mm-hmm. But like I was saying, obviously they're competing, you know, to survive. And one of the greatest things ever said on that movie was, if you want to survive, win the crowd. And I think that's such a great thing for gymnasts to take away. Win the crowd, win the judges. There is so much power whenever you can win the energy of just the surrounding. It is influential in the decision of your score.
Up second on beam, this is Elise Sakai-Hart.
And Elise hopes to really come back. Okay, so she's a back handspring, layout 2 feet, which is a very difficult skill. She wobbled, but hopefully we can put together a stronger routine than what we saw in the lead off with Leah. We're gonna go switch leap to a connecting skill, back layout step out. A little bit of a wobble here. But I love how she's constantly putting her chin up. She's constantly presenting such a great, strong. Okay, very good dismount. Double full step back at the end. I don't think that we're going to see as strong of a rotation from Denver on this rotation, just judging by their 2 firsts. But you know, maybe this is a great way for Georgia to catch up on their scores too.
And always a chance to pick it up as you go along and start building some momentum throughout your lineup. Well, here we go, one of the most anticipated routines of the day. Kat Hires, the senior, her final home routine in Stegman. The student section on their feet, and Kat ready to go with her first pass. Opening up with a huge double pike. Little bounce back on that landing, but just gets so much power, so much air underneath that first pass.
And you can see her dad just feet away with his phone out, just soaking up, filming every second of her floor routine. This is something they're going to want to remember together.
Second pass, front full, front layout, very well done. As clean as that's been for Kat all season. Excellent job. Kat said in the interview, if you were listening earlier, she said she'd probably be crying midway through that second pass. She said once she sets up in the corner for that final pass, she's got this great dance, the great James Bond theme with the choreography. She said she's expecting tears to be streaming down her face as she competes her final pass on floor, headed toward her parents. And here she is with the double tuck, and it was a thing of beauty. What a job, what a day, what a moment, what a career for Kat Hires.
And look how she just holds that last pose takes in the cheer of Stegman. Look, she doesn't even want to get off the floor right now. Waving, saluting. She doesn't want to go anywhere. This is a moment that she is soaking in.
Everything senior day should be about and is about is right there in Kat Heyer's performance. Her mom jumped up out of her seat. She got some height. That's where Kat gets the good height on the double pike from. Sia Heyer's jumping out of her chair as soon as that routine's done. And now Kat, tears streaming down her face, I'm sure, as she goes over. Big hug for her dad and for the rest of the Gym Dog parents. It's great.
Let's hope she wore her waterproof mascara. Here we go on beam with Jory Hall. Like I said, I loved Jory's choreography. I loved her style on floor, watching her, just her artistry. And I see it again here on beam, just such a great characteristic of a gymnast.
Back-to-back 9.7s for Denver to start things off from Lamonte and Sakai Hart.
Fighting for that, and she did. That was excellent.
You gotta love it when the home crowd applauds the effort of a visiting gymnast to avoid giving up a fall. There's class all around here at Segment
Man,
Coliseum.
I'm telling you, Georgia's too nice sometimes. We're great fans. Another wobble. She is fighting for this routine, and that is a great characteristic of a gymnast also.
That means something to coaches too. They love to see you not just pop off. It's easy to just give up that fall and move on and count on the rest of your team to pick you up. Coaches love that.
And teammates too. You're watching this, and you know, as a gymnast on the beam, you almost want to be like, give up. Excellent dismount. Excellent.
Yeah, and the great standing back layout too. Tough
Beautiful.
skill and well executed. She really picked it up. 9.85 is the score for Kat Heyers in her final floor routine in Stegman Coliseum. Just a shade off of her career high of 9.875 on floor. Love to see her crack through and get a 9.9 one of these days before she finishes competing in red and black. So good start for Georgia on floor, 9.8, 9.85. In the third spot, Brittany Rogers. She has had some struggles with the double Arabian in her first 2 weeks competing it. Looked good in warm-ups. Let's see how it looks here in competition. Brittany getting ready to start things off. And here comes the double Arabian.
Ooh.
Very well done. Just a small hop forward, kept her feet together, very controlled. Best of the year.
Bravo. I salute that double Arabian. Like I said, that is a hard skill. There is so much credit in just attempting that skill, let alone landing it. That is a blind landing. So these gymnasts are going into that totally feeling gravity pull and knowing when to open.
Front Rudy, front layout, nearly stuck it cold. Brittany is off to an excellent start here. Last week she struggled on the double Arabian and then went on to a phenomenal rest of her routine, and she's poised to do something very big right now.
And I love the artistry of our floor routines. I mean, Cassidy McComb choreographed each one of these routines herself, which is just great. And you'll see how, you know, they never stop moving. They're all over the floor, up, down, on their, you know, doing spins, doing handstands. There's never a dull moment, and that's what floor is about. It's about entertainment. And so that's a great piece of choreography that Cassidy McComb did.
Brittany finishing up, very good double pike. Excellent routine overall. She's got a season high of 9.875. That may have been her best yet. The crowd loves it. And I think, if nothing else, just a little bit of a sense of relief from the sophomore. I know that 2.5 just never quite sat right with her as the opening pass. She wanted to go back to the double Arabian. She got that chance, and she finally knocked one out pretty darn well.
Loved it.
9.475 was the score from Jory Hall, who had those issues, a couple big breaks early in her routine. This is Julia Ross in the fourth spot for Denver.
And Julia's whole motivation right now is just to knock out a great routine. And look, there's not a shake on her body as she attempts this skill. Boom. Beautiful. Excellent. Front aerial to connection to a back handspring.
The judges did not agree on Brittany Rogers' routine. It ends up being a 9.9. She got a 9.85 and a 9.95.
That was a very hard skill that Julia just attempted. I mean, a switch ring head completely back, so that's a blind landing that she's attempting. You see that a lot in club gymnastics and elite gymnastics, something that Nastia Liukin is known very well for. So that's cool to see this coming into collegiate gymnastics. She goes for her fourth skill, a side aerial. trying to connect that to a wolf jump. I don't know if she was trying to connect that or if that was just a separate skill. Here she goes for her dismount. A front full bent leg. She does land that and try to pull off a stick there. That was by far Denver's best beam routine.
Again, their high score is a 9-7 right now, so trying to pick it up with Ross, Martin, and McGee in those final 3 spots and close strong. After a 9-9 from Brittany Rogers, Georgia's been building their scores extremely well. 9-8 from Reynolds, 9-8-5 from Hires, 9-9 from Brittany Rogers. Here is Mary Beth Box, who has become just an absolute delight to watch week in, week out on floor.
Man, if you think she's a delight to watch, you should be around her. This girl has so much energy.
Just slid that front foot back a little bit on that opening double tuck.
I am telling you, and something that we call Mary Beth Box, we named her Boom Box because of her tumbling. She is so powerful. Her legs literally just give off a boom sound when she hits the floor. So we call her Boom Box.
I was wondering where that came from.
That and her laugh. It's like a huge boom when she laughs.
Double tuck. Great second pass. I misspoke earlier. Double pike first pass for Mary Beth. That double tuck was a thing of beauty there as the middle pass. She's got so much height on it.
Look how she gets into this floor routine. Mouth open. She is having the time of her life out there.
Easy one for the student section to clap along to and cheer for. 9-7-7-5 for Julia Ross, as Krista predicted, the high beam score so far for Denver.
Wow, I'm good at this. I should do gymnastics. Here we
You got
go,
a
Bill.
future. Mary Beth finishing up, 1.5. Oh, and a fall on her final pass. Something happened there on that 1.5 going for the front layout, and that might be the first fall of her career.
Really? Man, I'm telling you, that last pass is so important. You literally are so tired. You put your heart and soul into a floor routine. You're performing, you're moving, you can't even keep your breath. And so that last pass that you're going for is definitely the challenge of your floor routine. And that is definitely the time. If you're going to see legs give out, it's on that last pass. And I think that's what we saw with Boombox. We saw her legs kind of slip from under her. She gave into that rotation and just went down with it. But
that is, in fact, her first career fall on any event, beam or floor. That is how consistent she has been in her first 2 years at Georgia.
That's such a testament of her as a gymnast.
So Georgia will have to drop that one. They'll count all 3 of their existing scores, 9-8, 9-8-5, and 9-9. Kaylin Earls and Brandy J bringing us home.
And here we have on beam, going 5th for Denver, we have Mariah Martin. She does a side summy. Kevin, that's that skill again. Love it.
Tough E-level skill there on beam.
I think she's headed for her dismount here. She's going to go for a 1.5. Completely nails it. As Cassidy McComb would say, that's a man stick.
You weren't going to get off the air. You get a shot to be on the air. You weren't going to leave the air without saying man stick.
Absolutely.
Right? You got to get one of those in.
And
she might also give that a holy mackerel too. That was.
We call that a man stick because usually in female gymnastics you land and then you put one foot in front or behind to go back to that salute. Men in their gymnastics are known to just stick it and just raise right up without moving any of their feet. So that is why we call that a man stick.
Great start for Kaylin Earls as the senior is underway in her final routine in front of a home crowd at Stegman Coliseum. Kaylin, energy to spare. She was moved down last week from 1st to 5th in the floor lineup. It suited her well, a career high 9-9 last week.
And I actually asked Dana about that lineup change, and she said Kaylin has shown the consistency inside and outside the gym for over 3 years. You know, she's been put up there in lineup and just has been so great that they haven't wanted to move her down, but she has just earned the right to be deeper in the lineup, and it has just really paid off because, she's getting those scores that she, can really benefit from the team building.
Excellent double tuck second pass for Kaylin Earls. And she's got a chance with this segment of the routine to just have a little bit of fun, perform for this crowd, as she has done for 3 great years here in red and black. Final pass coming for Kaylin. Finishing up, double tuck, beautiful final pass.
Look at that face.
Oh, she is thrilled, and she should take this moment in as she looks around and salutes the crowd. They love her. A huge ovation for Kaylin Earls, the student section on its feet, and a beautiful floor routine start to finish.
Man, I'm telling you, and I just love seeing these seniors. You see them pause after their floor routine is over. They don't want to get off the floor.
Yeah, they're looking around. They're just, that's a moment you just take that mental picture and hang on to it forever. It doesn't get much better than this.
I'm telling you, they're soaking it in. Look, as she can't even breathe, tears probably streaming down her face as she makes it over to hug very last one, Brandy J, and to go over to her grandmother and mother and father sitting over there.
Nina McGee, meanwhile, finishes up the day for Denver on beam after a 9.8 from Mariah Martin.
Very unusual connections by Denver on beam. Very, different. I haven't seen these before. Pike jump, back to back layout, step out. I mean, very cool. I think the judges are going to like seeing this difference in skills. Nina is very powerful. We know that from her floor, and so, I mean, very interesting to see such a powerhouse on beam that takes so much grace. You don't often put power and 4 inches. Isn't usually a great combination, but here it looks like it's going very well for Nina.
9.9 for Kaylin Earls. It's a career high.
Nina sticks her landing, finishes up a great beam routine, and that is it for Denver.
So Denver finishes their day. They'll be right around their season average in score today, so not a particularly great day, not a particularly bad day for Denver. They're going to have an exhibition on beam going during Brandy J's floor routine.
But I think for Denver to perform in this environment,
true,
that is a good day for Denver if they hit an average.
That'll prep you for postseason no matter where you get sent to regionals.
Absolutely, and we have to remember Denver is 20th. They're not 10th or anything, so this has been a good day for Denver.
Brandy J bringing it home on senior day. It's up to the sophomore now as she begins with a full out. Little low, but picked it up right away and didn't allow that to get away from her. That floor pass has given her some issues in the last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Brandy would need a 9.9 here to give Georgia their season high score. She'll have to be pretty much perfect from here on out in order to get that.
And that is not impossible for Brandy. She is a powerhouse. Her legs are strong as ever, one of the strongest on the team. Floor is her environment.
Good second pass there from Brandy, that front handspring Rudy into an immediate layout.
You know what I love about Brandy is that she puts power and poise together in a floor routine, and that again is unusual. Usually when you have a gymnast that has such power, it's hard for them to have that artistic component as well. And Brandy does an excellent job on pairing those together.
Brandy J finishing up senior day for Georgia. Huge double tuck, a fall for Brandy J, and for the first time all year, Georgia counts a fall on floor exercise. And it goes from being a great day for Georgia to a what could have been. That's a tough way for things to end, and Georgia could have been in the mid-197s. Instead is going to have a season-low home score of 196.775.
Kevin, sometimes I wonder if having a team that isn't necessarily competing head-to-head with you throughout the meet, I wonder if that takes some effect on the floor whenever you need that adrenaline to really push you through. That adrenaline saying, we can't lose this. We can't give them an inch. If that wasn't there in this meet, I wonder if that took some effect in just how Georgia performed this last, couple of routines.
Well, and unfortunately, it really all set up to kind of follow the script and be a terrific day. And even if it wasn't going to end up being a season high score for Georgia, it was going to be a day that Georgia could have been happy about and been proud of, for their seniors. But unfortunately, that will just leave a little bit of a sour taste. Actually, interestingly enough, because of Brandy's score, I spoke a little too soon. Because of Brandy's score, she actually got a 9.275, 5/10 for the fall, and she kind of minimized the deductions elsewhere. Georgia is actually going to be over a 197, so they keep their streak of 197 plus scores here at home intact.
And you say what could have been, this kind of turned into a what could have been meet. I really think that, yes, okay, senior night may at this point not have been what the seniors wanted, but I guarantee you that the seniors are so much more concerned with what happens after this meet than what actually happens at this meet.
That is wonderfully said. You're absolutely right, and that's part of what we need to talk about going forward here, because as you look at the upcoming schedule now for Georgia, very few meets remain. Even though it's a long time until that NCAA championship in Birmingham, very few meets remain. Next Saturday is the regular season finale at the Huntsman Center in Salt Lake City, Utah. Georgia and Utah, number 5 versus number 6, competing on Saturday night, 9 o'clock, live audio. Then the following week, it's the SEC championship. A chance to get a trophy, a chance to get a ring, a chance to be champions of the best conference in collegiate gymnastics. That will be an exciting meet, as Georgia likely will go up against possibly 3 of the top 4 teams in the nation in Florida, Alabama, and LSU in that evening session. Georgia should be the 4th team in there. You could get 4 of the top 5 teams in the nation on the same floor, competing not for a national championship, just for a conference championship. So that's where Georgia wants to be peaking. You're right. You don't want your high score to come on senior day. It was great for all 3 seniors. They had a terrific meet, and now you've got a lot more to think about going forward as you have one more meet remaining before the postseason starts.
Absolutely, and like you said about SECs, I mean, that is literally like a mini championship. I mean, those are the same teams, the best that you're going to be competing against in nationals. What a great thing to be a part of it, the SEC. I'm telling you, the SEC is the best to be a part of, the best conference. And I mean, these girls are going to get good training. And hopefully, this right here, what we just watched today, you know, how they struggle on beam and how these 2 floor teams kind of caved a little bit on floor. You know, this wasn't the best. This is going to take them. This is going to light fires in their belly. I'm telling you. So this may have been the best thing that could happen to this team tonight.
Krista, thank you so much for being with us on the air. You had a spectacular debut here, and it was a pleasure to hear some of the technical analysis that we got. And really, it was terrific to work alongside you. I appreciate it.
Kevin, it was my pleasure. And you know, one day I hope whenever I do see a 10, I want to see you even more excited. I want to see the towel being whipped above your head and everything. I'm going to be looking for that.
I will have no voice left after it. I promise you that much. Today, a 197.025 for Georgia, 195.825 for Denver. We will have one more live video broadcast here in Stegman Coliseum. Mark your calendar for Saturday, April 5th at 4 o'clock p.m. Eastern. That is the NCAA Regional. We will have free live video coverage of that entire 6-team event. But as this is our final home meet, the final time to get this fabulous crew working together, I want to thank each of them for all they have done to this point this season and all that they are going to do for us throughout the postseason. And it begins with our spectacular first-team All-American director and producer, Audra Plummer. We've got Danny Bryan manning our camera up top. We have Katie Brazil, who's not with us today, but she is serving on a mission trip in Haiti, and we thank her for her work all this season. Elijah Gallus, of course, down on the floor, getting some great shots that you'll see as part of the Georgia Gym Dog Show this coming Wednesday at 2 o'clock p.m. And we've got Ben Beatty, the best sports information director in the country, helping us out as well. And on behalf of all of us and my partner, Krista Tanella, thank you so much for watching this season of Georgia Gymnastics here at Stegman Coliseum. Please join us for the regional. Please join us next Saturday in Salt Lake City. On behalf of all of us here at GeorgiaDogs.com, this is Kevin Kopp saying thank you so much for watching and goodbye from Stegman Coliseum.